Hi, everybody. My name is Michaela Beyer, and today I am going to be interviewing Ronnie Sweetheart, Ronnie Colley from the Throbs. He had a wonderful career with that band, and he is actually going to be doing another show with the Throbs on January 2nd, 2026. I hope you all come out there and let's hear about his life and career now. Thank you so much for coming on, Ronnie.
Oh, you're welcome. I don't know if you mentioned it's at the Whiskey A Go Go in world famous Hollywood.
Yes, the Whiskey A Go-Go, which I love and I know a lot of our viewers love, so please come out and see him.
Yes.
Alrighty, so let's start from the very beginning. Where were you born and raised?
Born and raised in Toronto, Canada, eh?
Awesome. And
Yeah.
were you very musical growing up?
Um, there was yeah, my mother had a record player like in at the end of the kitchen with some great Elvis records. So I used to like listen to Elvis a lot while my mom was cooking. Ironically enough, my mom wasn't a great cook, so I ended up being a chef because I wasn't crazy about her cooking. So I ended up studying cooking, believe it or not.
Wow. Yes, and I want to talk about that later on. That's really cool. And are you still a chef today?
No, I'm retired now because just the demanding hours standing on my feet. I've had like two surgeries, one on my neck and one on my lower back. Um, it's I can't stand for that long anymore. It's just really taking a toll.
Hmm, understandable. Well, I mean, I saw you a couple years ago performing and you did a wonderful job. So I think we've got nothing to worry about as far as seeing you perform at the Whiskey.
Well, thank you. You know, self self-indulgence and self-medication helps me get through it.
Yeah. Alrighty. So, when you were growing up, were you part of any bands or were you involved in any musical activities in school?
I was in the chess club, believe it or not, in high school. High school is where everything changed. I don't really remember anything before high school. That's when it changed. I had like a mullet, and I used to wear a tailcoat with all these punk pins on it. I think I was the
Awesome.
only, I think I was the only punk in the school. There might have been a couple others, some rock and rollers, but I was, Ramones changed my life, and uh, that's where I went to from there. And I actually went to a trade school for high school for cooking, believe it or not. So
Oh,
did I did four years of cooking in high school, and then went to college for 1 year in Toronto for chef pre-employment. But I high school was the first time I played in a band. I played in a band. I think we were called a piece of tail or something stupid like that. I think we did like two or three songs. I think we did a Beatles song like Twist and Shout,
oh,
probably probably a Ramon song or something like that. But that's where it all started. High school. Back then,
nice.
there was actually smoking areas and stuff like that in high school. It was crazy.
Yeah. And were your family very encouraging of that? I mean, it sounds like you at least had a career path in place. So did they like the fact that you were also involved in music?
They they really didn't like it at all. I mean, I don't think they cared one way or another. My parents got divorced on my 12th birthday, and
Oh,
so I lived with my mother for many years. Then I moved out and slept on girls' couches and stuff yeah, for the longest time while getting into rock and roll and supporting myself by cooking. In downtown Toronto, I became an executive chef like right out of the first year of college at a little tiny place on Yonge Street downtown in Toronto. It's called Rosedale Diner. Um, that was a great little place. It was like someone's house. Nothing matched. None of the silverware matched. None of the placemats matched. None of the chairs matched. It was just a great place. Such a cool place. And people, there was a patio back. People actually walked through the kitchen to get to the patio. Say, "Hey, chef." But that was a fun place. But yeah, my parents, uh, back then, I don't know if parents were so much involved in what their kids were doing. I don't know, not for me anyway. They weren't so much involved in what we were inspiring to do or really push you in one direction or another. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't, my upbringing. I don't know.
Okay, well, I mean, it sounds like you were pretty well situated either way. I mean, you had a career already going. What inspired you to go down a music route instead?
Like I said, the Ramones really changed my life, and I started playing with different punk bands in Toronto. Um, we had started the Throbs actually in Toronto with I don't know if you ever heard the EP we did. I'm proud to be loud. Um, that I moved here with those songs and to New York and kind of got a buzz going just because it was kind of different. I could cross over from a punk club into a glam club, and thank God didn't get beat up either one. Um,
Yeah.
but like I said, the Ramones really changed my life. I used to go see the Ramones all the time when they played Toronto, and I was probably underage at the time, and I grew up with Sebastian Bach, also from Skid Row. Um,
Yes,
we used to hang out. We actually played in a band together called VO5, the Ultimate Hairspray Band.
that's
Um,
right.
I played guitar very poorly in that. Um, but I think we did one or two shows, um, maybe three shows. I got a video of it somewhere. Someone sent me. It's hilarious because we're doing all cover songs. We're doing Poison songs and we're doing Aerosmith songs. We're doing Motley Crue songs that haven't even come out yet. And ironically enough, Motley Crue were playing at Maple Leaf Gardens right down the street from where we were playing at Rock and Roll Heaven. And Tommy and Nikki show up at the show, and we actually met them in the ladies' room because we always use the ladies' room for some reason. It was just I don't know. It's I was gonna say it's cleaner, but it's never cleaner. Ladies are a mess. But we met them in the ladies' room, and Sebastian actually gave Nikki his demo because he had just finished with Madam X and stuff like that. He was looking for something new. This Steel 5 thing was just kind of like we need something to do. So we did it. Like I said, we're doing all cover songs. We went to the House of Lords and all got our hair done up as big as we could. And that's what I miss a lot about the early days was, the preparation and taking the time before you went out. There was like a pre-party, sort of getting ready, putting your makeup on, doing your hair, picking out your clothes. No, I'm not going to wear this belt. You wear this one. I'll wear that one. That was like so much fun, just getting ready to go out. You know. So
Yeah. And your look is part of your creativity as well, and part of the performance.
absolutely, I don't think my look has changed in 30 years. To tell you the truth, I'm I've probably got more wrinkles and stuff, but thank God I still have my own hair. And but as for my wardrobe, I still shop at thrift stores because I think I can't see spending $60 on a pair of pants. It's just I can't do it. I just can't do it. I'll bring them home and alter them myself if need be.
Yeah. And clothes from the 90s and before were just so much more durable and better made back then. I mean, I prefer to shop vintage and thrift stores as well.
Oh, absolutely. I'm still looking for a pair of like I remember when I was a young kid that these jeans were in. They were like white base, but they had red and yellow and green stripes, vertical stripes up and down them.
Mhm.
They were so popular back then, like in the early '70s. I can't find a pair to save my life. I want a pair though.
I'll keep my eye out because I'm actually on a couple of different sites that might have that. So
Oh,
I'll,
okay, perfect.
yeah. But anyway, eventually you made your way to New York. Describe what that was like.
Well, I had come down. I believe it was to see Johnny Thunders at the Limelight, and we drove down from Toronto to New York. I was with I think three girls, just hanging out. Had barely any money, enough for a
Mhm.
couple cocktails and stuff. And I remember it was a cold winter because for some reason window got blown out in the car, and we had to use my jacket to like put over the car door and slam the car door closed so to keep it half decent warm inside the car. But yeah,
Wow.
I met up with Danny and at the time Pete Pagan,
Hmm.
and I said, I'm thinking about moving down here. You know, I'm a singer from Toronto. I've played in some punk bands in Toronto. You know, the Throbs. I played with the Vile Tones. I played actually bass with the Forgotten Rebels for like two shows. The bass player couldn't make it. Mickey the Saddest called me up and said, "Oh, would you play bass for me?" I said, "Yeah, sure." So I quickly learned songs on bass and played two shows with them. So yeah, I met up with Danny Nordahl, Slim Tender, and Pete Pagan, and they said, "Yeah, we'll come up to Toronto and we'll grab your stuff and we'll drive you back." So
Nice.
that's what kind of what happened. I think they actually picked my stuff up. I think I flew back. It was like an hour
Oh,
flight on this rinky-dink plane, and they drove all my stuff back. I think I had an amp, I think two or three guitars, Minnie Mouse collection, $30 Canadian in my pocket at the time, and a dream.
yeah, that was a big leap, especially when you had a stable job back there in Toronto.
Right? Yeah.
And on a fun note, what was the Johnny Thunder show like?
Oh, every Johnny Thunder show was great. You know, it's like I need more reverb. um, yeah, I've seen them quite a few times. Ironically, the Throbs have been interconnected with Johnny Thunders throughout our career. I mean, right up to the end where we actually did a show to honor his life and whatnot. Um, but you know, the Dolls and Johnny Thunders were totally inspiring to the Throbs and myself also. Um, but yeah, every Thunder show, you never knew what you were going to get, what night you were going to get. I remember walking through Ritz, and I don't know if he was playing. He may have been playing, but he had saddlebags over his shoulder with all his stuff in it, and he was just wandering around with saddlebags over his shoulder. So you never knew what you were in for when you went to a Johnny Thunder show.
Yeah. Did you actually kind of know him as a person, or did you just kind of see him at performances?
Just we knew each other sort of in passing to say hello. We'd sit and chat for a bit, but you know, nothing too strong.
Okay. Um, and by the way, I really enjoyed finding that flyer for the memorial show that you guys played for him.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we had played. There was some other connection, like a strong connection that I can't recall what it was, but there was another strong connection. But like I said, the Throbs and Johnny Thunders intertwined a lot in the Throbs career, where it was just ironic. Um, I think at that memorial show, ironically enough, I think a couple of guys in my band were actually on heroin, which I was totally against because my brother was my brother was a heroin addict, and I always said if you're going to be in the Throbs, you can't do heroin. And then all of a sudden, these guys are all messed up the night of a show, and yeah, it wasn't pleasant for me. I mean, you know, doing the memorial was great and all, but like I said, you know,
Yeah, I don't blame you, especially considering the fact that you were doing a memorial for a man who had just died partly because of heroin. Sheesh.
sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, but anyway, on a better note though, tell me what it was like in the beginning days of being the Throbs in New York. I mean, was it a very fast rise where you got a following and were being courted by labels, or did it take a little bit longer?
I think it was a fast rise once I got to New York. I mean, I had struggled. I'd been playing in Toronto like for many years. So when I got to New York, I was like kind of the new kid in town. So and I had big hair and I dressed very flamboyantly. And so everyone's like, who the hell is this? And we would do shows where we would do possibly six songs and get off the stage, no encore, and just leave the building. So people would be going, "What the hell was that?" Because I would bleed, sweat, and puke before I left, and people were just going, "What the hell did we just see?" You know, I was young at the time, and I was determined to like do something because like I said, I've been trying for the longest time in Toronto to get a break. And so that's what we did. We did very short sets and left the building, so no one really knew of us. But then Danny and I would go out every night and see everyone anyway at each
Mhm.
club. Wednesday night was the Cat Club, Sunday night was the Limelight. You know, afterwards everyone would be going to the Scrap Bar. I remember one night we were leaving some club and Joey Ramone was there, and Danny knew the Ramones are like my favorite band and totally influenced by. And so he threw me in a cab with Joey Ramone, and we went down to the Scrap Bar. And so Joey's sitting next to me in the back seat, and he goes, "So, sweetheart, what's your real name?" I said, "Well, it's Ronnie Sweetheart." He goes, "Well, Ronnie's kind of cool. That's cool." He wasn't keen on calling me sweetheart, I think, but that was just so cool sitting in a back of a taxi with Joey Ramone. He's my idol. I had seen them so many times, before I even got to New York. And then we got to play with them. We got to tune their guitar. They were playing the Ritz one time, and their guitars were all. We were backstage with them, and their guitars were all tuned. So I'm not the greatest guitar player, but I can tune a guitar. So
Mhm.
we all tuned their guitars before they went on and stuff. It was funny. But
Yeah.
I think I veered off your question there. I don't know.
No, it's okay. And actually it brings me to something else. Like, how did you go from being Ronnie Colley to Ronnie Sweetheart? Was it like, did somebody give you that nickname or did you think it up?
I was in a band in Toronto called Spike. We were a three-piece band doing Ramones covers. I played guitar and sang. My bass player was Baby Oil. God rest his soul. He's passed away. And my drummer was Cat Thing. His real name was George Harrison, believe it or not. We were
Really?
a three-piece band dressed in drag doing Ramone songs. And that was just a fun time. We played London, Ontario quite a bit, Toronto, all through Toronto. So the name Sweetheart got penned on me during that band Spike.
Okay. Did you
Yeah.
like it? I mean, was it something that kind of became so common amongst your group that it sort of became your name by accident?
No, I embraced it because they said, you know what, you're such a sweetheart. You don't say no, or you sort of dance around saying no. So I embraced it.
Nice. And another thing that I'm curious about, like, how did you develop as a singer? I mean, did you ever take lessons professionally, or was it just a very natural talent for you?
Um, you know, back in Toronto, I was just a screamer, and it's something I wanted to do. Once I moved to New York, once we got signed, I actually asked Geffen Records to pay for vocal lessons for me, and they did. I went to Don Lawrence for a little while,
Hmm.
who's trained John Bon Jovi, Sebastian Bach, and many others. Um, we would do scales on the piano, Ande Felice. Um, so, but I only did it for a little bit. I was more of a punk, so there was no training that. It was like a street thing, I think.
Yeah. Well, you kind of came to the you mentioned Geffen Records there, and it leads me to my next question. How did you get signed to Geffen Records? I mean, that's like one of the Rolls Royce of record companies.
Yeah, you were asking prior, was did it happen fast? We actually got interest on our third show. We played, I
Hmm.
think, the Cat Club, I think probably the Limelight, and our third show was opening up for Nina Hagen at the Ritz,
Wow.
um, because people were interested in us, and that started a bidding war after our third show, believe it or not. So I guess it did kind of happen quickly um, when I got to New York. Um, I'm sorry. What was it? Oh, Geffen Records. That's how it happened. So there was a slight bidding war. Guns N' Roses were on the top of the charts. Um, so it wasn't really much of a juggling act for us to think of which label we were going to sign with, thinking that
Yes.
they have Guns N' Roses and we're we were sort of a really heavy punk band when we first started,
Hmm.
especially with those first three shows. But our vein of music is same vein of music as Guns N' Roses. We're slightly different, slightly punky, but very old school rock and roll. So I think it was a no-brainer for us to, you know, sign on the put our blood on that contract with Geffen Records,
Yeah.
DGC.
Hmm. And visually, you guys were a little bit more glam than they were, like even a little bit closer to Hanoi Rocks visually than them, I think.
Yeah, probably yes.
Now, you
You know,
mentioned the
I think
Ritz.
I
Sorry,
think
go
I
ahead.
think that, I think that was because we were a New York band rather than an LA band.
Yeah.
Um, it's a bit dirtier in New York,
Hmm.
and it's ironic. I don't know if I'm jumping the gun here, but w when I got to New York, we Pete was working in a studio, so we had free studio time. So we were in the studio constantly,
Hmm.
and then there was guitar player changes. I don't know if I'm jumping too far ahead of you right
Not
now,
at
but
all.
but we met this guy Chud that owned a studio, and he would let us work his studio and hire and like rent out rooms for recording and rehearsing. So we basically had free reign of that studio. So we basically rehearsed 7 days a week, probably 8 hours a day, from like noon to 8 o'clock, and then Danny and I would go out drinking, grab a slice of pizza, and promote the band, the Throbs. Here we are,
Wow.
forced to be reckoned with at the time, and at that time we were a freaking machine. We were so because we rehearsed so much. I mean, it was insane. I can't
And
believe I sang this.
how did your songs come about? I mean, describe what that process was. Did you already have most of what would later end up on Thieves and Vagabonds written by the time you signed with Geffen?
Yes, everything was written except for Honey Child was being finished up with by Roger. Roger wrote that,
Hmm.
and he also wrote another song, the last song on the album, "Strange Behavior." That song was sort of written while we were in the studio. Um, but yeah, everything else was there and rehearsed like crazy. Uh, we haven't mentioned Bob Ezrin became our producer,
Yes.
um, but not a whole. He didn't change a whole lot of stuff on those songs because we had rehearsed them so much. He might have. I think the biggest thing that he changed was taking out everything in the beginning of Dreamin', and the drums coming in, boom, boom, bow, down, 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 and uh, what a great change. So, but yeah, I mean, it was great working with him.
Mhm.
And speaking of Bob Ezrin, I'm sorry, I'm jumping right in front of you and just answering questions before you even ask me. But getting Bob Ezrin was no small feat because we were a baby band, just signed to Geffen DGC,
Hmm.
and they said, "Well, who do you want to produce your album? You're signed. Who do you want to produce?" We met a lot of producers, and we said, "Well, you know what? We'd really like to have Bob Ezrin do it." And they said, "There's no way. You're a baby band. We're not paying for Bob Ezrin for you. It's your first album. You know, no one really knows of you guys except for in New York. You're alone in New York, and we're out here in LA now looking for producers." And so we found out where Bob Ezrin lives, and we went to his house after a club early in the morning. The sun was coming up. We knock on his door. He answers the door and he goes, what the hell do you guys? Who are you? What do you want? We're we're a baby band from New York. Just got signed to Geffen Records. We'd love you to produce our album. They say they won't pay for you because he had been semi-retired at the time. I mean, I know he's still working now in 2026, but he was kind of semi-retired. And he said, "Well, sit down." He actually ordered donuts and coffee for us, which was probably shame from just the pizza and beer that we've always fed on. But it was early in the morning, so we had coffee and donuts with him, and we played the demo for him. He goes, "Well, I like this. Let me give a call over there and see what I can do." Ironically enough, three 3 or 4 days later, Geffen calls us and goes, "Guess what, guys? Great news! Guess who we got for you? We got Bob Ezrin to produce your record." Oh wow!
Guess, yeah,
How'd you
yeah, guess who we
do
got for
that?
you? They put it that way, huh?
Exactly. Yeah. How'd you do that? Um, but
I
yeah,
adm
uh,
yeah, I admire your bravery in doing that. That had to have taken a lot of guts.
you know what? There's a lot of great producers, but uh, you know, going back to like our vein of music. I mean, he's done, yes, Pink Floyd. He's done Alice Cooper. He's done Hanoi Rocks. I
Yes.
mean, that's right exactly where our vein of music is. So
Hmm.
it's like it was no once again it was a no brainer for us to like. Okay, we got Geffen Records, no brainer. They have Guns N' Roses, no brainer. We have Bob Ezrin, no brainer. It's like what could go wrong?
What could go wrong? A little thing called grunge.
And
And
you know what? If you want to get into that now, I think grunge affected everyone else. I don't think it really would have affected the Throbs. I think it affected everyone at the record company because Nirvana was on Geffen also.
yes,
We
yes.
stole a bunch of their CDs and sold them to to feed ourselves. And honestly, I don't think grunge really affect would have affected the Throbs in our vein of music. We weren't like a heavy metal band or necessarily a hair band. I mean, I had big hair, but obviously everyone lets their hair down after a while, and they just
Yeah,
have long hair, so to speak, let their hair down. But
yeah.
honestly, the Throbs music, I don't think really would have been affected by the grunge movement because the grunge movement was just good old rock and roll, also.
Mhm.
You know,
I mean,
um,
I think part of the reason why the Throbs kind of got thrust into like the hair metal or Sunset Strip group is because you guys were just similar enough visually to be placed with them.
right.
And honestly, like again, you guys were not from Seattle, you were from New York and had gotten signed a little bit earlier. So I think that's kind of why you guys weren't able to either ride with the grunge wave or to kind of surmount it, like you were a little too associated with that. And one thing, and this is just kind of a fun, silly question from me, but I have to ask, as you mentioned, you were on the same label as Nirvana. Did you ever get to meet Kurt Cobain?
I I think in passing in the Geffen offices, I think we were all up there all at the same time. I don't remember. I believe Danny did meet Kurt. I honestly, if I did, I don't remember. Those were
Wow.
it was times where it was, you know we were on a cloud, a high cloud, and the cloud was pretty high. If you know what I mean.
Okay.
Um,
Yes, and
I
going
believe
back,
Danny does.
sorry, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, I'm
Um,
sorry. Go ahead.
well, I'm going back a moment. You mentioned the Ritz in New York, and one concert that I absolutely love watching is the Guns N' Roses concert at the Ritz. Were you there?
I believe I was. Again, I don't remember.
Okay.
I believe I was. Was that 91?
No, I believe it was
89,
88, so
88 or 89?
88 or 89. So,
You know what? I don't think I'd gotten there yet. I think that show happened just before I got to New York.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of curious about your taste personally. I mean, were you you kind of came to New York like right when, as you said, Guns N' Roses was topping the charts, but there was sort of this rumbling of a punk grunge movement in Seattle. I mean, were you a fan of either of those types of music, even though your music was kind of another unique thing?
I was, but I was like, I kind of had blinders on, and I knew the only kind of music that I wanted to do that I could sing, excuse me, was just straightforward, good old rock and roll.
Hmm.
Like I said, I played in punk bands and sang in punk bands, but to have a bit more melody and melodic tones in the music and meanings in the songs, 'cause I can write a terrible punk song right now that people would love, but it doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But you're right. Your music is much more melodic and um, I think has a bit more of a classic rock feel to it than typical punk. And like, was there any pressure on you from Geffen to make it something else, or were they pretty much letting you guys do what you wanted to do?
It's very strange. It's very strange because we got signed playing very sort of punk stuff, but then, like I said, the language of thieves and vagabonds was kind of written before recording. So
Yes.
I think they knew we were a good old rock and roll band. And let me just go off here again because Geffen Records did have Guns N' Roses and grunge came out, and they know they've finished recording the Throbs album, Language of Thieves and Vagabonds. Why
Mhm.
not throw us on the road with Guns N' Roses? Because we're in the same vein. I mean, I don't know who is not doing their job, but that would be like a no-brainer again, right?
Yeah, exactly. And on that note, I did hear though, and maybe this is part of why it didn't happen. Is it true that Erickson actually had a bit of a tiff with Izzy Stradlin over a girl, and then any plans for a tour became a moot point?
Well, Roger was married at the time to Annika, and I don't know if I should mention names, but um, I believe Izzy and Annika hooked up, and they ended up, I think, going out for a while, or I don't know if they ever got married or whatnot. But yeah, there was some animosity. But I mean, when we first got signed and the record was done, this hadn't happened yet, so it would have been ideal to put us on the road with Guns N' Roses. I'd like to know what Guns N' Roses were doing in I think '91 when this all happened, because if Nirvana came out and so-called ruined everything for everyone. I'd like to know. I'd like to research what Guns N' Roses were doing at that time, because I'm sure they were just out playing, and so put us on, let us open up for them. Um,
Yeah. I mean,
going back,
there's kind of an interest. I'm sorry, go ahead.
going back to the Rogers story, there was, I don't know if this is true or not. There was rumors of someone shooting in Izzy's vicinity of where he lived, and it got back to Geffen, and they thought it might have been someone in the Throbs. So I don't know if this is true or not, but this is what I've heard like over the years. This is like what 30 years ago, shit, no, not longer. But yeah, so that kind of ruined everything for the Throbs ever going out with Guns N' Roses, which would have
Wow.
changed all our careers.
Exactly. And on that note, you were saying like what was GNR doing in 91? Kind of the answers to that is they were recording the Use Your Illusion albums and releasing them. And they had
And
actually wa
Izzy went missing.
there you go. Yeah. I mean, Izzy, it became apparently too much for Izzy. And but anyway, kind of what happened with GNR in terms of the touring thing though was that they wound up touring with Soundgarden and Metallica, and for whatever reason trying to ride that, and maybe I mean, maybe just for whatever reason, the Throbs kind of got lost in the shuffle, and
Right.
kind of their bitter. I mean, this is a bit of a side note, but they had a bitterness with Nirvana because they'd offered to do a tour with Nirvana, and Nirvana had turned them down because Kurt basically was like, "Axl Rose is a sexist and a racist.
Right.
I don't want to tour with him. My music is something else entirely." So.
Right.
That's kind of the explanation. I mean, I wish that you guys had toured with them though, because I think that would have been such a great match. And
Right.
just, yeah,
But you think Geffen would have had the hindsight to do that? I mean, uh, you just think someone up there would have had the brains to like say, you know what, we have this band. They sound like their music is like this. Let's put
Mhm.
them together, throw them on with whoever else. Let us put us on at 6 in the afternoon. I don't care.
Yeah. Exactly. And the thing is, you guys even had a lot of the same influences as Guns N' Roses. I mean, you mentioned Hanoi Rocks before and the
All,
Ramones.
all of the same influences, all of the
Yeah.
same. Going back to like, when this all happened, I was in Toronto still, and Appetite for Destruction came out, and Fast Pussycats album came out, and they both blew me away. I'm going, oh my God, I'm not a crazy Axl's voice fan. I mean, he's an amazing singer. It's just his voice isn't the best thing for me. But both those albums came out at the same time, like I think a day or two from each other, and I'm
Yeah.
going, this is exactly what I'm trying to do. So, and that's why I hopped on the train to New York. Wasn't a train, I knew that. But that's what I mean. Both those albums came out, and I'm going, see, someone else gets it. This is rock and roll.
Yep. Exactly. And it frustrates me when I hear that Geffen was saying they didn't know how to promote you. It's like, guys, come on. They're a rock band. There's plenty of ways to promote them. I mean, if you don't want to promote them as a glam band, so be it. But I mean, there's a lot more to their music than that. Find a way. I mean, it just sounds like they had a lack of imagination when it came to promoting their clients' work in general. I don't get it.
Y- You know, you know how they actually first told us that we don't know how to promote you. We went to I don't know how long you have you grown up in LA here?
No, I'm actually from Illinois originally. I've lived here for about 6 years now.
Okay, so you wouldn't remember this restaurant. It's called Dom and Grib. It was a Moroccan restaurant. I don't remember where it was, but it was in LA. And so Geffen calls us and says, let's have a meeting. So we get our lawyer together, we get our management together, and we get Andy McCoy together. So we all go to Dom and Grib, this Moroccan restaurant with Andy McCoy, and we're sitting there cross-legged around in a circle like a powwow, because that's how you eat Moroccan food. You eat with your hands and the bread.
Yeah.
And so we're all sitting there, and Andy McCoy's sitting there nodding off and stuff like that. And there was little booths where we could go smoke hash and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so that this is how Geffen approaches us and says, yeah, your album's great. We have no idea how to promote you. And we're just like dumbfounded. It's like, what are you talking about? You don't know how to. You have Guns N' Roses on your label. Send us
Yeah.
out. This was the time I believe Andy was playing with Iggy Pop. He was playing
Yes.
guitar with Iggy Pop,
Mhm.
and he was just friends of the band, and so we invited him to dinner. He was kind of nodding off into the bread basket, but God
Oh
bless
my
his soul.
gosh.
I love him. I've seen the interview you did with him. He's a tough nut to like understand sometimes. You got to like put your ear closely to like get what he's saying,
Yeah.
you know?
But I mean, one of those people who is like so amazingly talented and
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's the godfather of the Sunset Strip and grunge, and I have such respect for him.
Me
But
too.
yes, he is a complex creature. We'll put it that way.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. But what was he like in those days? I mean, you said he was a friend and you knew him. I mean, describe what he was like when he wasn't behaving like that.
Well, there wasn't many times he wasn't behaving like that at the time. I mean, we had the same lawyer. David Codico was our lawyer, and he was Andy's lawyer. I don't know if he represented Iggy Pop at the time, but Andy was just a really cool guy. I mean, I remember just hanging out, sitting around someone's hotel or apartment and stuff like that, and he would just be playing guitar, and just to sit in a room with Andy and when he's playing guitar, and just it's like, wow, this like I did something right in my life, you know. That's how I felt, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Andy he sort of reminds me of that song Curtis Low by Leonard Skinner. Have you ever heard it?
I'm sure I have. Sure I have.
Basically, yeah, I mean basically it's this guy who is kind of a loser and everybody thinks he's useless, but like the minute he plays a guitar, it's the most beautiful thing you'll ever hear. So,
Right, right. Yeah. I
yeah. I think
remember.
if
I remember. I was in. I was in Spain. My wife and we went to London and we were just hanging out with some friends in London. And I think we just hopped on the train to Spain for some reason, for no reason whatsoever. And I think we were there for like 3, 4 days, and it was our last day there. And then we walk up to this big poster posted on a wall, says Hanoi rocks tonight. I'm going, well, we're staying another day now. And Adam Bomb from New York, I knew Adam Bomb from New York was opening up for Hanoi Rocks, and
He's lovely, by the way. I've met him.
Adam Bomb's a cool guy.
Mhm.
So we bought tickets for the show, went in, and hanging out sort of side stage, and then Adam Bomb walks by and goes, Adam, he goes, sweetheart, what the hell are you doing in Spain, Barcelona? Um, so we said, can you get us backstage? So we got backstage. We hanging out with Adam, obviously, and then seen Andy. I said, Andy, you go, sweetheart, how's it going? I gave him a new Throbs T-shirt that I had and stuff like that. But we were leaving the next day. I think I had some hash, so I gave him the hash. I said, I can't be leaving with this. So this is for you. He goes, oh, thanks, mate. But um, yeah, and Andy's just a great guy. What an amazing, talented guy. It's just it shocks me like how it comes out of him. It's just amazing. It really is. I did you see Andy wasn't in the band, but did you see Michael Monroe? I think it was last year at the Whiskey.
Yes, I did, and it was amazing. I absolutely loved it. I went to two of the shows that he did on his US tour, and he's amazing. His voice has held up so beautifully, and
Yeah,
Slash actually came on and played with him at the Whiskey show. It
that's
was
right. I,
yeah,
I was
it was
I was standing up in the balcony, and then Slash walked by me and stuff like that. But yeah, Michael Monroe, Jesus Christ, I think we're the same age, but he's just got so much oomph still in him. Is like I guess he's been doing it constantly, and I've been kind of sitting on my ass with the horses and the dogs. But yeah, that what an amazing show! It was just uh, I was kind of pissed that Sammy didn't play that show. I think he had a prior engagement with a TV show or something like that. Because Sammy and I go back. When Sammy was playing with the Dolls, did the record release party for the first Dolls. Well, not the first Dolls album, but the first Dolls album that Sammy was involved with, and it was I think it's a record store in New York. I don't know if it was Tower Records, probably Tower Records. And Sammy goes, "What the hell are you doing here?" I go, "I'm a Dolls fan, man. I'm a Hanoi fan. So what do you think I'm doing here? I'm hanging
no,
out, checking out some good music." But yeah, I'm sorry, getting off track.
no, it's totally okay, and I agree with you. I was so disappointed that Sammy couldn't come to the performances, but I actually, and to be honest, I was kind of prepared for Michael not to be able to get into America because I had had an incident a couple of weeks before that where I was supposed to meet Alvin Gibbs from the UK Subs, one of my other interviewees, and unfortunately they got barred entry at immigration and weren't able to perform. So I mean, as
Really.
excited as I was about Michael coming, I'm like, okay, maybe Sammy made the right decision. They could get held up at the airport, but thankfully he was able to come in, and thank goodness. I mean, it was such an amazing couple of days, and
I think he
probably
mentioned that. I think he mentioned that at the show, saying that he might have troubles, but now it's all cleared up and we'll be back. And they were supposed to play like a couple weeks ago or a month ago, and I think he got hurt or something like that. Michael got
he
hurt or
did.
something.
He
I
did.
had
He needed.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I think he tore his meniscus. But from what I gather, he's on the mend, and hopefully he'll be back next year. So, fingers crossed,
I
Sammy.
I had tickets for that show, and then I got my refund when it was Buck Cherry, and who who took Mike's spot?
I don't know. Um I'm sorry. I don't know who took his spot, but yeah, I was disappointed
Oh,
that he got hurt, but Fingers crossed next year. And I mean, and Andy was actually supposed to play the Whiskey a couple of years ago too, but
Yeah,
from what I understand, he just couldn't work out the paperwork. He has a couple of criminal convictions on his record, and unfortunately, he has trouble getting into the United States because of that. So, who
right,
knows if he'll play here again.
right. Hopefully, yeah. He had that all planned, and that I was like totally ready to go to that. He had that all planned. So hopefully he gets that all ironed out and he can get back here.
Just
You
curious. Yeah, I mean, just curious. Are you still in contact with him at all? Like, are you guys still friends?
well, no, I haven't been in contact with Andy in the longest time.
Okay. Um, Well, back to your music. When you were kind of signed with Geffen and there was this great buzz around you, were you happy with your bandmates? I mean, was it sort of like being in a little band of brothers while you were waiting for your record to come out?
Oh, absolutely. We were a gang. Once the record was recorded, it kind of sat on the shelf for a long time. So I think Roger went to Morocco for a vacation. Danny moved to the Lower East Side. I moved to the Upper West Side, Central Park West, and I'm sorry. What was the question?
Oh, just what was the dynamic like between you guys? It sounds like it was good.
It was good. I mean, we were all excited, but like Geffen sat on the record for the longest time before releasing it, and then they release. Okay, we're going to do a record release party at the Palladium in New York. I'm going great. I'd love to play there. I've never played there. I think it closed shortly after that. Um, but we hadn't. We used to rehearse, like I said, 6, 7 days a week, 8 hours a day. We've had almost a year off, and as our record's sitting on the shelf, and so okay, we rehearse a couple times, but it's not the same. It's not that machine it was. And our record release party, I think in the first song, I think the power blows in the Palladium. Believe it or not, place goes black, pitch black,
Whoa.
and yeah, yeah. I couldn't remember lyrics. I had like 6 or 8 months off, and I was just like doing nothing, just waiting for my album to come out.
Mm.
But yeah, that was hilarious. Total blackout in Palladium in New York City.
No kidding. How scary. Ugh.
They actually got it back on. They actually got it back on, and we did end up trying to play our set. But what don't bands usually just play the record at record release parties? Did the band actually play live? I don't know.
I mean, that's my understanding. I mean, I was too young to ever really go to a record release party in those days, so.
I it hasn't haven't times changed so much. It's so different now. It's like the internet has changed everything. It's like insane because you don't need a record company anymore. I mean, it'd be nice to spend their money and stuff, but they always recoup it somehow or make you pay for it somehow. It's it's just crazy. I wish I knew more about all this technology we have because it baffles me. It really
Well,
does. I was trying to unmute my phone to do this interview. It took me like 5 minutes.
well, I mean, I think the key to music being online now is artists need to get paid more from streaming. I mean, that's all there is
Right.
to it.
Yeah.
It's pretty criminal how little artists get paid for their streaming. And for me, kind of the social media aspect too is a bit of a blessing and a curse because on the one hand, it's helping the music stay alive.
Yes.
People fo- are able to find music that maybe they wouldn't art otherwise, like the Throbs, like Hanoi Rocks, and a lot of other musicians. But on the other hand, I also think that social media is extremely harmful to the business aspect of music. And a lot of bands and musicians kind of getting a bit of a high off of getting a lot of likes, but deciding that that's a substitute for financial security
Right.
and success.
Likes don't pay your bills. It's
Yeah.
ironic. My 18-year-old daughter Zara, she just actually did a paper for college on this exact same thing, how social media has has changed the music industry. I mean, not just from the artist sense, but obviously the record companies, they're they must be hurting also if there's many left out there that it's just insane. It's
Hmm.
just changed so much. You know,
It
look
has.
at
And
look at me. I grew up with 8 tracks and cassettes and and vinyl.
yeah.
They're showing my age.
Well, here's kind of a silver lining to that. The incoming generation actually is a little bit more interested in physical media. Like there has been a resurgence, not with
Yeah.
just with vinyl, but with cassettes now. So I think we're
Oh,
moving back towards that. But again, we've got to figure out the financial aspect because we cannot have a music industry where people are obligated to starve until they make it to Taylor Swift's success. That's not cool. And
exactly.
yeah.
Excuse me.
All right, so g going back to the release of your record, what was the actual moment of release like? I mean, were you happy when the record finally came out? Did you have a lot of worries about it because of the kind of delay in releasing it and the onset of grunge? Tell me how you felt.
Um, I'm sure I was exasperated saying, my album's finally out. I don't think they should have shelved it for that long. I think they should have put it out because honestly, I think our album and our songs on that album are timeless. It doesn't. I don't think it should have affected us. Again, going back to the grunge thing, it shouldn't have affected us. I really don't believe that. Um, Others may disagree, but like I said, yeah, sure, I was like so happy, and then we got on a tour. I think our first tour was over in Europe, opening for Mr. Big, um, which was fun. We played the Marquee with Mr. Big. We played it ourselves too a couple times, and Europe got us. Europe knew
Yeah.
Throbs. They knew the sound. They knew what we were doing. So
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
know, um,
I absolutely love the song Honey Child. Just
thank you.
so beautiful.
I love singing that actually. I
Awesome.
love singing it.
You'll have
Most most
to
most singers don't like singing their slow, soppy ballads, but I actually love singing that because it does show that I can sing and not just scream some lyrics. You know, I,
Yep.
going back to shows on the road with Geffen, I think we were. I don't remember if it was in Europe or in the States. I think it was in the States, but we were on the road and we had a day off and we're traveling to our next show. And Geffen calls us up while we're on the road and saying the Nilsson brothers have have a cancellation slot in front of them. Would you guys be willing to open up for the Nilsson brothers? Ironically enough, we said yes. Back in the day, I don't know why we said yes, but it's like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Nilsson brothers, right?
Oh yeah, my other interviewee, Bobby
Gunner and
Brown.
Matthew.
Yeah. What was that?
Gunner and Matthew.
Yep. Yep. My other interviewee, Bobby Brown, was actually engaged to one of them for a time, I believe. So
Oh wow. Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, it was an outdoor show. It was hot, 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 and I'm wearing pink leather pants and stiletto boots, and they had drum risers going down the side of their drums, but they were like grates. So my
Uh,
heel got caught in the grate, and I ended up tumbling and rolling down the rest of the way. So
ugh.
it was Kansas City. It was Kansas City. This is how I remember this because I got up and stood up to grab the mic and said, Kansas City, how you doing?" Um, I'm gonna get me some. But yeah, but that was fun. After that show, Danny and I went down to the front and watched Gunner and Matthew, and it was fun. And mothers and daughters were out there going, "I can't believe you guys are out here like watching the show. Can we get autographs and pictures?" It was just so much fun. But that was our day off in Kansas City.
Nice. Now, I understand that when you were in Los Angeles for a time, you actually lived at the Chateau Marmont. Is that true?
It was actually when we first got here.
Wow.
I think it was the first time I was in LA, actually. I don't know if I was here before that, but yeah, we had got signed and we're coming out here for pre-production. So our lawyer says, "Oh yeah, I got you guys a place to stay, staying at the Chateau Marmont." And we're going, "Oh, okay, great." And it ends up being the bungalow John Belushi passed away in.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. That's pretty
crazy.
spooky. Yeah.
So yeah, so Danny and I walk around the back side of that. There's a little liquor store like right around the bottom of that. If
Hmm.
you come around this way, I don't know which way it is, but um, so we walk to the liquor store and there's Chevy Chase is in the liquor store. So Danny going, "Hey, Chevy Chase, we love you, man. How's it going?" He was just so nasty and mean to us. We're like, "Oh, we just got to LA. We're staying at the Chateau Marmont." He was just didn't want to have anything to do with us whatsoever. It was
Oh,
funny.
gee.
I grew up on Chevy Chase movies and John Candy and SCTV and stuff like that. But
Yeah. National Lampoons.
yeah, he was just so mean to us.
Aw.
I was disappointed. But
Aw.
we got our booze and went back to the Chateau Marmont, Bungalow 3.
Yeah. But hey, you get to hang out with Andy McCoy, so fuck Chevy Chase.
Right.
Alrighty. So you're out on the road promoting the album, and what kind of vibe are you getting from the record label and from audiences at that time?
Um, well, once we're back out on the road after the album's out, we've
Hmm.
been back into rehearsals, so we were once again a machine,
Hmm.
and we could pull off on live on stage what the album sounds like, really close. Um,
Hmm.
Not as close as Kicks. I had to throw a shout out to Kicks because we've played with Kicks so many times, and opening up for Kicks is just like you better be on your game, or
Yeah.
you know. But I'm sorry, what was the question? I keep getting sidetracked.
Oh, it's okay. What was the vibe like from the record label and from audiences when you took it out onto the road after the release?
Um, once we're on the road, we're just doing our job. That's what we do. That's what we want to do. That's what we love to do.
Hmm.
You know, what the record label's doing, hopefully they're promoting us and making sure our per diems are there on time so we can actually eat. Um, I remember, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead. We were playing Phoenix, Arizona, a place called a Mason Jar,
Oh,
and we get a phone call while we're doing sound check, and the lights are shining in my eyes, and this phone call is the phone call that we're getting dropped. I don't know if I'm jumping too far ahead,
no, just tell it the way you want to tell it.
but we're getting dropped from Geffen Records. We're Geffen Records doesn't want to have anything to do with us. But like I said, we're at sound check and the lights are in my eyes, and I got the mic stand. And I just throw it into the empty audience because we're at sound check. There's not supposed to be anyone out there.
Yeah.
Apparently, the mic stand cracked some guy in the skull, and he went to the hospital and got a bunch of stitches. I believe it was the light guy or the sound guy. And I walked out of the building, and there was a little old lady salon like around the corner, like a little
Mhm.
strip mall area.
Yeah.
And I went and got my hair dyed natural blue black. Then I went back to the bus, and they told me, "Oh, you cracked some guy in the head with a mic stand." I go, "What are you talking about?" They couldn't find me for the longest time because it took a while to get my hair done,
Hmm.
and it was just crazy. It was like, oh, and we went back to do the show, obviously, and I told the guy, "I was so sorry. The lights were in my eyes. I didn't see anyone there. I didn't, obviously didn't do it purposely." And he was just, "No problem, man. I'm good. I just got a couple stitches. I'm fine." So yeah, that was how we found out we were getting dropped. So we actually just booked a whole bunch of shows at the places we had just played in the hope they didn't know we were dropped. So we called it our desperation tour. So we backtracked and played all the clubs we had just played before they found out we were dropped from Geffen to get the same amount of money, but we got paid directly this way.
Yeah,
Um, but
that's
yeah,
so describe.
rock and roll is a hard life.
Yeah. And describe to me what you thought the next step was going to be. I mean, did you and the band want to rally and find another label?
Um, we did, like I said, we did a sort of a desperation tour, and just to see what was going on. We still had, a gang of people out supporting us and stuff like that. Um, we just kept playing, and then shit happened. They kind of got a new singer without me knowing, and booked a show in New York City that I seen in the Village Voice and went to. I showed up just before they went on under my name, the Throbs, because I brought the name from Toronto
Yes.
to New York, and so yeah, so I showed up. And the first song, I walked up and put $1 in the singer's pants, and I said, "You're gonna need this, buddy." And then I walked out of the club. So
I don't blame you. I
so
mean,
that was the end of the Throbs, and I know you would mention like the album The Second. That is not the Throbs. I don't know why. It was Roger Erickson that used my name because he thought it promoted better. They were called the Vibes. I wish to this day he wouldn't have used my name on that album because I had actually demoed some of those songs prior to that album, and
mhm.
it just is honestly just pissed me off.
I,
No, like, what else can I say? It fucking pissed me off.
I don't blame you. Roger sounds like a bit of a troublemaker, huh?
I guess it's the coldness in Sweden or something. I don't know.
Okay. But anyway, are you guys pretty much okay now though? Like you and the rest of the original band?
Ronnie, I speak to every few years maybe. He's in New York now again. I think acting. Um, he was doing a burlesque thing in New Orleans after the Throbs, and but Roger I haven't spoke to in years. I think we did a reunion show way back when in New York with the actual original New York band, but that was so many years ago.
Mm.
Um, but no,
And then
Danny.
he,
But no, Danny and I get along, and Danny's band Faster Pussycat has a great band, so I borrow them because they all have the same schedule. Well, not the
yeah.
same schedule because Sam Bam Colton, amazing guitar player, is in so many bands. He's the Dorothy and Other Side and stuff like that. But we all get along. We don't have to see each other all the time either, so that's a good thing. you know,
There you go.
even Danny and I, we, I lived with Danny pretty much on the road for the longest time. We always roomed together. When I first got to New York, it was Danny and I that would go out and promote the band. The other guys would like go home, and Roger would play guitar, and Ronnie, I don't know what the hell he would do, but Danny and I would go out and promote. Yeah, hey, we're the Throbs, man. Here to we're to be reckoned with. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, you know what? I love the guys I'm playing with. Chad Stewart's on drums, Sam Bam Colton on guitar, and Danny Nordahl, Slim Jim Tender, um, playing bass. And you know what? We get along and we understand each other. We've actually got about 10 new songs written and somewhat demoed. So
Nice.
I'm hoping to do 2 new songs January if we get a chance to rehearse because we haven't actually played together these
Okay.
new songs. We've just kind of like done it with this new technology everyone has. What happened to HB pencils? I still write
Yeah.
my lyrics. I still write my lyrics with a pen. I don't type. I don't. I'm not on a computer. I don't even have a computer actually. My phone is
Really?
my phone is my computer.
Whoa. Okay.
I have an HB pencil with an eraser on it.
Yeah.
I still write my lyrics that way.
Yeah. I actually prefer to just handwrite things as well. I mean, it's not really possible given how digital has gone in education and in the workplace, but I mean,
Right.
you know,
See, I'm the worst at remembering my own lyrics. So if I write them, hand write them, it gives me a better chance. It gives me a better
yes.
chance to remember what I've written. If I'm just typing, plus I can't type. Who am I kidding?
Yeah. Understandable. Now, one thing I was going to go back to. So anyway, the band ended, and from what I gather, you became a cook again, and you actually got married and had a daughter. What was that like?
Yes, well, I was married in New York too. I have a daughter in New York. She's 30. She's going to be turning 32, 33 this year, and she has two kids. I'm a grandfather of two, and
Congratulations!
well, thank you. And I'm married now with a daughter of that's 18, and she's a nail tech. She's been doing my nails. I don't know if you've seen my posts, but they've kind of chipped and broke. I'm waiting for them to grow back. But yeah, living here in California with a couple horses in the backyard, some chickens for some fresh eggs, got a pool. I'm
Nice.
doing all right.
You're doing wonderfully, it sounds like. That's great. Yeah. Hey, sounds like you had a great life.
I wouldn't change it. I'd like to go. If I could go back, I think I would live it exactly the same. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm sure I would change some things. Like I'm sure I would insist Geffen put this on the road with Guns N' Roses, because then who knows where I would have been now. But yeah, you know what? I've lived the life of many that many will never live.
You've lived a very interesting life, and it sounds like you've found happiness in a multitude of ways.
I have. Thank you.
Yeah. Alrighty, so to conclude, I've got a couple of kind of fun questions for you.
Okay.
Favorite album of all time?
Favorite album of all time?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think it would have to be Rocket to Russia. It changed my life. The Ramones, Rocket to Russia.
Nice. Favorite song of all time?
Oof. I don't think I've written it yet.
Aw,
Favorite song of all time? You know what? Memory Motel by the Rolling Stones.
really?
I think so.
Nice. Awesome. Favorite book?
Favorite Brooke? Probably, who is it? Don Juan's Peyote's Adventures. I don't remember the name of the book.
Hmm. Okay. Um, Favorite restaurant? You're a cook. This will be an interesting one.
Favorite restaurant? That's a tough one. You know, I don't think I can answer that because I love Italian food and I love Indian food. So it depends on what I'm feeling that day. Um, I love cooking on open fire myself. So I can't answer favorite restaurant.
Okay.
You know what? Might have been Dom McGrib where Annie McCoy passed out in the bread basket. It was a,
Ah,
it was an amazing Moroccan restaurant. It was just a white facade with one door going in. That was it. There was no windows. It was just a white facade. I think it was on Sunset Boulevard. I'm not sure. You'd have to look it
okay.
up, but
Now,
it was an amazing restaurant.
one thing I'm curious about, and you'll probably know this because you're a chef, is that the way Moroccan restaurants are in America, or is that also the way restaurants are in Morocco itself? Like, do you sit down on the floor? Are
Oh
there
yeah,
kind of okay?
yeah. Sit down on the floor and they put the food in front of you, all these different dishes, and they have a basket of bread. So you break some bread, and
Mhm.
there's no utensils, so you're using bread as your utensils. But yeah, that's how you eat Moroccan food, and it's tasty. Indian food and Moroccan food, they use so many wonderful herbs and spices that you know. I could be. I hate to say this. I could become a vegetarian if it was Indian food and Moroccan food because there's so many flavors and spices. But I do love a slab of beef or pork.
Yeah, same here. Like for me, I eat meat maybe like once a week. I would like to be a vegetarian. I know it's better environmentally and in other ways to be one as long as you get the proper nutrition elsewhere. But yeah, just I can't help it. I've got to have a cheeseburger sometimes,
Right.
like once a week. All
Right.
right. Okay, favorite TV show of all time.
Favorite TV show of all time. With again with technology, we don't have cable anymore, so we just stream everything. So favorite TV show. You know what? I know what it is. Probably Dexter, because he was my only friend for the longest time.
Your only friend for the longest time. What do you mean?
Because I I I don't go out and hang out with people at all.
Oh,
So
okay.
Dexter was my friend for how long? How many series? How many episodes or series he had? He was my friend for the longest time, and he was a good guy. He's a bad guy, but he's a good guy. I
What a
understood
fr-
him,
what a friend to have.
right?
Yeah. Hey, I like Dexter too, especially the earlier seasons.
Yes,
And Julie Benz, man, she is a goddess. I love her as the girlfriend on that show.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, she played Darla on my favorite show of all time, which is Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but brilliant, brilliant actress. I love her. She's very underrated, wonderful character actress. Just I hope she has a comeback soon. She's amazing. Okay, and last of the favorite questions. Favorite movie of all time.
Favorite movie of all time. That's a tough one. I watch movies and series and stuff like that, and I'll finish it like last night, and I won't remember it today. So I could rewatch it. It's so strange. I think I'm getting old. Seriously. Favorite movie of all time. You know what? I like the Saw movies, and I liked Final Destination movies. I
Oh,
I don't know. That's kind of morbid, but kind of morbid on the stuff I watch. I think. Um, I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. Favorite movie. Favorite movie. I watched over and over again. I've watched Iggy Pop played actually the theme song for the movie. What was it, dude? I can't even think of the name of the movie now. Um, it was Repo Man.
oh,
Repo Man.
cool.
Great movie. And not for nothing. How could I forget the Rocky Horror Picture Show? I used to go see the Rocky Horror Picture Show at the theater in Toronto, underage, dressed as Frankenfurter, um, like every Friday religiously. So I think Rocky Horror Picture Show is probably my favorite movie.
Now that is a good way to end it. All right. Thank you so much, Ronnie. I really appreciate it.
Michaela, thank you. January 2nd, the Whiskey You Go Go,
Yep.
2026. Here we come, huh?
Yep. Here we come. Hope to see you all out there.
Yes.